Yo, you read the title, you know what's up. It's about weed. I'm gonna start this yap sesh with my personal story when it comes to weed. How it started, how it went, how it ended, how I quit in the end, and I'll also touch obviously the benefits of quitting and or the negative effects of the use and abuse of weed in general. So to start my personal story, I would have to go back, way back, COVID, the first lockdown. So around about 2020. Damn, that's 6 years ago by now. Kind of crazy. So back then I had zero experience with anything drug related. I didn't drink, even though that's pretty normal for people at that age, right? And I mean, I did try it once before, like with friends, but it didn't feel great. I didn't like it. Basically, nothing would have happened, right? But then the lockdown happened. And school wasn't really prepared for anything, at least in my country. Like, we did, like, in the first few phases, especially the first lockdown, we didn't even have online classes, man. Like, some teachers, like some motivated ones, did actually get something done, right? And organized something, but a lot of the teachers, especially the older ones, with basically class didn't really like happen. So naturally, I stayed inside because that's what we were supposed to do, and played video games with my friends: League of Legends, Minecraft, Counter Strike. I mean, you know the fucking usual suspects, I'd say. And during this lockdown, we weren't allowed to go outside after I think it was 8, and you weren't allowed to, and you had to have a reason, which is fucking dystopian if you think about it. Free country, my ass. And you weren't allowed to be with more than, like, you are only allowed to be with people from your household and one person of a different household. That, I think that was the regulation. So basically, you weren't allowed to meet up with friends and shit. And being fucking stupid teenage guys, I don't know. We started making plans to still meet up, right? We wanted to be together, and like it was boring, and only playing video games all day is kind of getting repetitive and boring. So we made plans and to meet up at like a friend who lives like close by to the most of us, right, in the neighborhood, I'd say. And we were to just meet up at night in his backyard and then fucking do something, I don't know. And then, the stuff happened. People brought weed and we smoked it. And obviously I was offered some, and like peer pressure, and you didn't want to be the pussy, right? The odd one out who didn't try it. And then you fucking took a hit from the joint. And, one thing led to the other, and you started enjoying it actually. And then it was fun, right? And we had snacks and shit. And we weren't allowed to be loud, right? Because it was at night. And the walk home was also exciting, and obviously the whole sneaking in general, like sneaking out. I didn't do anything forbidden before that, honestly. I was a pretty good kid, I'd say. And like sneaking out, doing it behind the back of my parents, and then meeting up with friends, it just felt thrilling, exhilarating. That's the words I would say to describe that. And yeah, it just was a cocktail of emotions in general, and I associated like these quote unquote good times with the consumption of weed, right? So far, these were the only occasions where I smoked. I mean, only it was kind of a daily thing, especially towards the end of the first lockdown. Like we had a routine going. We skipped class if there was any, like online class, or we were like attending the fucking Zoom meeting, but obviously we were on Discord and playing League of Legends, like fucking flex games for 5 of us. It was fucking fun. And then we would like talk all day about like, oh my god, I can't wait until my parents go to bed, and then we can fucking sneak out at like usually 2 or 3 a.m., meet up, smoke a fat one, have a good time, go home before the sun fucking rises. I mean, there was one time where we fucking we pushed it, right, and the sun did come up, and I almost caught my father going to work. This would have been devastating, but it didn't happen. And yeah, I mean, okay, so how did those meetup look like we at 3 a.m. we snuck out and we met at this friend's backyard, and it was like 6 to 9 of us, sometimes like rarely more if like everyone arrived, but we had like a core of 6 people, and 9 is like kind of tops. And we were just, homies having fun, ripping joints, and then later somebody took a bong with him and we tried that shit. Like, it is degenerate, right? Like, in hindsight, obviously, but even back then, I felt, like, obviously it felt wrong, but it felt exhilarating, yeah, that's the thing. This all became like a common occurrence basically every night. And then, yeah, after the lockdown ended, it didn't stop. That's the thing. Then I started getting my own weed. Before that, like obviously like I started paying some like some money. Like, okay, I'm gonna fucking smoke your weed, right? And I'm gonna pay you a little bit. So, but at the very beginning, I didn't even pay anything. And then I started getting my own weed. That's the thing. I think that's the like the point of no return. Then I had access to my own stuff, or like getting my own stuff, and that's really bad. And yeah, the thrill of acquiring it, like back then it was not allowed in my country. Right now it's legal. It's a weird thing. It doesn't matter, but back then it wasn't allowed, and I had to like talk to this dealer, right, and then like get that shit back home, and not get caught by the police, man. I was in my like I felt like in a fucking movie, man. I felt like fucking Walter White, which is ridiculous. Obviously, it's fucking weed, man. Who cares? But like just acquiring the weed on your own, paying for it, and then also like getting all the equipment, like the fucking you need a grinder, right? You need papes and tips and shit, and obviously your parents can't see shit, like you have to hide it. And obviously, like if you smoke at home, bro, you have to be smart about it. Fucking smell and shit, like yeah, and like obviously like meeting up with friends randomly in some fucking woods and like just smoking some wood, that was our thing. Um, yeah, but it got to a point where like spending time with my friends, because everyone in my friend group started smoking weed. I mean, I was the last one to start it actually. Most of them did it before. That's like hence why we did it in the lockdown. But every time we spent time together, it basically led to smoking weed together. And there have never been instances of us spending time together where we didn't smoke, other than during class, because you can't smoke. I mean, I'm gonna tell you some stories. We did actually fucking smoke during class, even, which is insane. But obviously not every time. So this one story was towards the end of junior year, like right before summer holiday. And we like just the idea of it is kind of ridiculous in hindsight, but back then it just felt right. Like all the grades are already made for this year, so we didn't like we felt like, I mean, who cares? Like, why would you go to school in the last days? But I usually like I've never skipped class before that point in my life. After that, I fucking skipped left and right. It's not a good look, I know. But before that, I was like a kind of like a model, like a role model student. I don't know. But then we just came up with the idea like, hey, no grades. Like we're only gonna do some bullshit in class, like watch some film or like do nothing or like talk. I don't know. That's the thing. Like towards the end of the year, you don't really do anything in school. You're just supposed to be there and like show up. I don't know. So we just made up our minds and we're like we met up at fucking 8 a.m. just right before class started at the school, because some of us live further away, so we just met up there, and like some of us were driven by our parents, and then obviously we can't say like, oh, can you can you drop us off there? Like, what, you go to school, my friend. So we met up at school, but instead of going to school, we just went to towards the forest. On our way, we went to some supermarket and got fucking junk food like iced tea and chips, potato chips, donuts and shit, like the most nasty shit. Something I wouldn't even touch nowadays. I have to make a video about nutrition and fitness, but that's a different topic. So we met up, went to the supermarket, and then we ended up in some forest. And we just, got out the bong and fucking started ripping bong heads, man. At fucking, like, what, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. on a school day? Instead of being at school, like, what the fuck were we doing, man? But yeah, it felt nice. there were actually some forest workers, right, who caught us, or like who saw us, and they were like, "Hey, what you doing?" And we're like, obviously caught in the act. Like literally, one of our friends was like ripping the bong at the very moment, and then he saw us and like saw the bong, and he was like, he was smiling, last day of school or what. Like he knew, but he was cool about it. But, like back then, I appreciated it, but nowadays. Like, if I were to see fucking, like, what, 17, 16-year-olds ripping the bong, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't care, but that's a different topic. Also, yeah, this one story, man, I feel like this is, like, it didn't feel as significant in the moment, but in hindsight, that's like, it just shows you how fucking deranged we were when it came to weed. We did not think about it as, like, a harmful substance, which is very dangerous, in my opinion. Like we had like a free period, like class, like the teacher was sick or something, and we just decided, like, it was in between, like it was during the normal day, like I don't know, like fucking 10:15 a.m. something like this. We just we just went behind the fucking school gym. We even, that's the crazy part, man. We, like, our one friend, he was in a different course, and then like the different, he elected something else, so he wasn't in our class, or the teacher was missing. And we just fucking text him up like, "Bro, pretend you're sick, come out, and we're gonna fucking rip a fat one." And he actually did. Like, he went out, and man, this is crazy to even think about. Like, he went out, right? Pretending to be sick, like, I need to take a quick, like a fresh breath of air. Can I step outside? And then we met up behind the gym, and we got out our pipe, like man, it was a fucking pickle rig pipe, man. That's a different story. We fucking ripped that shit, right? We smoked a fat one, and then I mean we had some time to spare, right? We went together, like back up to school, right? And we just had time until the next period. But this motherfucker just went straight up into class again. Like, imagine you're the teacher in this situation. Like, your student asks to go outside to get a fresh breath of air, comes back. I mean, I don't know if it was very blatantly obvious, but that, like, the smell alone would give it away, no? Like, back then we didn't even, and like, it's a meme, like, do I look high? And then it's the fucking most highest motherfucker you can imagine. Like, I don't think his eyes were red, but the smell itself would fucking give it away, I feel like. But nothing happened, I guess. I mean, yeah, maybe if you don't think about it, you don't suspect it. Yeah, crazy thing, crazy story, man. Also, one, man, that's, yeah, it's sad to even talk about that shit. But like, during my what is it called in English? SATs, like the final exam of high school, right? The big ones. I mean, in my country, I feel like it's bigger, but it doesn't matter. Like SAT, just to paint a picture. Like, the morning of the fucking tests, like for my math exam, for example, my math SATs, if that makes sense, I ripped a fucking, like, I vaped weed and then went to the fucking exam. Like, I wasn't stoned during the exam because, I had like a half an hour walk to school and shit, and like once I started writing, I was sober. I guess maybe like some remnants, but just the thought of it, like, why? Well, like, why would I do that? But I did it. Like, it was a habit. That's the thing. It was like, yeah, it conquered my life. It had a grasp on my life. I feel like I have an addictive personality, maybe, So it's either you do it or you don't do it. For me, I can't really be like, I do it once a week. Or that's why I had to quit cold turkey, man. And I would recommend the same thing to you, actually. If you struggle with weed, fucking quit that shit, man. It's man, like, there is no benefit to it. It costs money. It's bad for your direct health, like lung, and it's very bad for your fucking mental health. Like, there are no benefits other than the immediate well-being. But even that, like, after a lot of time, like, and it can induce fucking anxiety as well. Like, the only reason you should use weed if it's like a medical thing, and I feel like that's 0.1% of actual marijuana, like, use in general, right? I don't know, man. That's just me, maybe. But yeah, bro, like, the morning of my fucking SATs, I ripped one. Like, why? Man, I guess that's what you do when you're 18, man. I don't know. especially if you smoked weed for a year at this point. Like your brain is not developed. Let me tell you that much. And now we get to the kind of I don't know, the dangerous part. Like money started becoming a problem. Like you can't like my pocket money. Like obviously I had some saved up, right? And then like, but I got to the point where I'm like, damn. Like if I continue, and obviously I started smoking more and more. Like your tolerance grows, and you want maybe the better shit, right? Not the fucking uh, the shit yeah, you want the good stuff, right? And it's obviously more expensive. And then money became a problem. And I just started thinking like, what's the most logical thing to do? Duh, I'm gonna fucking grow my own shit. And back then it was illegal. It's one thing to buy it and consume it. That's like something small. I don't know. Like, is it a misdemeanor or something? I'm not sure what the right word is. It doesn't matter. But growing your own shit, that's a different story, man. And like, I like, obviously I couldn't. Like, I did not have a credit card back then or something. Like, if I wanted something from Amazon, I had to ask my parents. And I can't really ask them to buy a fucking grow lamp and equipment and shit. So I went to a friend who actually had access to his own stuff. And we ordered like a lamp and shit and like, wow, I don't know what else online. The seeds, yeah. Some like hydrometer and shit, like thermometers. And then I went to the department store and got fucking pots and dirt and whatever you need to fucking grow weed, right? And we set it up like in my fucking room. There's this small like antechamber. I don't know. It was used for storage back in the day, but it was empty in my case. It was my fucking like my room, right? I don't need extra storage or something. And I kid you not, in my fucking room, my childhood room, I grew like several plants during my senior year of high school, and even during my first 2 semesters of university. And I'm like, in hindsight, that shit is insanity, no? Like, why would I guess, like, yeah, the reasons are obvious, but like, that I really went through with that shit. It's crazy, huh? And I mean, it did work. I got what I wanted, and it was much cheaper than buying that shit. Obviously, I didn't sell anything. I did not want to go that far, and like the reason, like, why would I sell it, right? Like to get money in order to buy the weed again for like that. That's ridiculous. I smoked it all with my friends, and yeah, that was a crazy ass story. And like my whole life was focused around this fucking plant. Other than, okay, like, don't completely fuck up your life. Like, I still went to school. I still graduated, right? That was not a problem. Like, if shit really like would have interfered with that shit, like with my career, quote unquote, my education, right? Then my parents would have caught up and like, yeah, okay, I would have been in trouble. But my school went well. That's the thing. Like, my school was not really. It was influenced, but it didn't show in the grades, for example. And yeah, like university was like, I just did nothing. I just went through with it, and but I continued to smoke. That's the thing. And the grasp weed had on my life is really shown when it comes to other aspects. Like, you wouldn't even think about it, but one election, right? I don't know, 2021 or 22, something like this. All my friends, we discussed who to vote for in order to most likely legalize weed. That's the only issue we focused on during that election. Like, what? Are you insane, man? Like, there are more blatantly fucking apparent issues in the world than fucking legalization of some drug. And like, we all voted for like parties in order to legalize that shit. And that's all we thought about when it came to that election. Like, holy, like that, man, that is not a good look, let me tell you that much. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really directly mention the negative effects, so I'm gonna do that right now, like, if that's not obvious, but it dulls your mind. It creates this brain fog, and it hinders your cognitive ability, it lessens just your sharpness. And like a big thing it kills your drive. You want to stay in your comfort zone with that shit in like all aspects of life, not just I don't know, like for example, diet. You will eat like crap. There are some effects, like if you smoke like a lot over a long time, you might actually get skinny if you're not a overeater, because you're just gonna be content doing nothing, literally nothing, not even go like getting up and going to the fucking fridge. At least for some of my friends, it was like this. So maybe in the beginning that's a problem, but it might actually become the reverse. But even that is obviously not good. You're gonna become like a fucking twig. You need your nutrients. But for me, it was like maybe the total amount of calories was not really that big of a deal. Like I did not get fat, but the quality of calories. Like I ate junk food left and right, like fucking chips and I mean I already told you what we took to the fucking forest to smoke the bong. And like stuff like gym. Like back then, the first time I went to the gym was around 16, 17. And at the beginning it was kind of okay, but then like COVID hit, obviously the gyms were closed and shit. And afterwards, like one of my friends wanted to still go, and we kind of did go. But then with the weed, I just stopped going. Like it just felt inconvenient, and like the like in my head it was like, okay, like I'm home after school, I can go to the gym right now, or I can rip a fat one and watch some fucking I don't know, anime or some bullshit like that, and eat some chips. Like who cares? And that's the thing. It's the convenient option, and you therefore never leave this comfort zone in all aspects of life. I mean, I already mentioned it, but I started like skipping class left and right. Like I got up, smoked one, and I was like, do I really want to go to first period? Like hell nah, man. I skip that shit. Like who cares about fucking English class, right? And that's so wrong. Like you need to go to school, man. Yeah, and it continued in university, and it even got worse because there was no like mandatory attendance. Like I skipped lectures left and right, and my grades obviously suffered from that. But university was like a new thing, so I chalked it up as like, okay, it's harder, right? Obviously you're not as good as in school because school was fucking piss easy. But a big thing is also avoiding social gatherings in general. Like, I only met up with my stoner friends to smoke, and we didn't really, like, we played video games. Obviously, we had a good time, but it would have been better if we didn't smoke, and we would actually go out, right? We just went to some guy's house and chilled there. We did not go out. We did not enjoy life, like what people our age should have been doing. And I also skipped family meetups. That's the worst part. Like when I was old enough to like live on my own and like university and shit, and I had the option to say like, oh sorry, I have to study. That was my go-to excuse. Sorry, I have to study. I have this paper to turn in, and it like a lot of the time it was actually true that I had something, but I would not have this issue if I didn't smoke. I would have done it before or like on time, not on like the last moment possible. And sometimes I straight up just wanted the convenience of like I can't go. I'm sorry. I want to like I'd rather smoke alone on my own or like with my friends or something. And that's so deranged. Like family is one of the most important things in life. If you don't have a crappy family, like that has to be a given. But yeah. And yeah, it's like weed is just the ultimate comfort zone enforcer. That's the thing. I mean, there are probably some people who can still do shit on weed. Like it's not a universal thing, but I feel like it's a trend among people. At least in my peer group, it was the trend. And I want to actually mention my two OG friends, also from the last episode, the same ones. Like one of them, he quit before us, like way before us, like over a year ago nowadays. And like I'm very proud of this guy. Like he actually was part of my motivation. Like I was like, okay, damn, he quit weed. Like, and he's the smart one. Like like, there's a good reason for that shit, right? I should do that as well, maybe. And I did try to quit several times. I mean, quote unquote tried. Like most of the time I was aware that it's just a temporal thing. Like for example, like during heavy exam phases, I was like, okay, lock in, like 3 weeks of no smoking, just studying, and then afterwards I can indulge again, right? That's the problem. I never thought of it as permanent, which I do now, which is like a good thing. Like this piece of I will never smoke that shit again if possible. Yeah, that's like a very good mindset to have. So this one guy, like he quit, right? Very good, very proud of him. He's still going strong, and it did improve his life significantly, especially his mental capabilities. That's what he told me, at least. The other friend of my two OG friends, he took a turn for the worse, sadly. Like I obviously also, like, it's bad that I smoke, but I never really escalated completely. He kind of went too far. He started doing shit like creating his own like fucking butter, like with weed, like canna butter, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And this is like the most potent shit you can do, and it's the most cost efficient, like bang for your buck when it comes to getting high. And he did that shit every day, man. That is insanity. He's right now in the process of quitting right now, which is like, I'm so fucking proud of him. So my one friend, the OG, he quit like years, like more than a year ago. Then I like started quitting, right, left and right, and then now I'm actually done with that shit for like a longer time now. And my other friend, like he's about to quit, which is insanity. Like, we're really good. I'm so fucking proud of those guys. And obviously we tried to push him, like especially this one guy who like took it too far. We tried to push him, like, come on, bro, like at least reduce it, right? And like he was like, ah, but now he sees the reasoning. And to end this yap session, I feel like I want to tell you how I quit, and like maybe you can replicate it, or like see some way to do it your own based on that shit. Like, I know it sounds corny maybe, but it shouldn't. Like, right? I quit because of God. Like, some shit happened in my life this past year, and I don't want to get into this shit. It doesn't matter. But I found God. That's the thing. I felt like there was always something missing in my life, something bigger, and it is God. Like, I know that for sure now. I am so glad I'm a Christian, right? I believe in Jesus Christ, and I wanted, like, as stupid as it may sound to non-religious people, but trust me, it did help. It did improve my life in every aspect, actually. I wanted to be closer to him spiritually, and weed is a direct barrier to like between you and God. Like, he does not want you to smoke that shit, especially to the extent I did. That's the thing. Maybe if you, like, I don't know, if you do it once a month, who cares? I get it. But I can't do that shit. If I do it once a month, I'm gonna start doing it once a week. I'm gonna start doing it every day, like once, and then I'm fucked. And yeah, I like, what happened after I quit, right? What are the benefits, the immediate benefits? I started getting the drive again. I wanted to do shit. Like the past video, right? We, like, the story of us going outside. We would have never done that shit if we were all just we would have met up and fucking smoked at like this guy's house, right? But we didn't. We went out, even though it didn't lead to anything. But it was a nice evening out still. And also, like, me making this fucking YouTube channel. Like, I always thought about making some channel, like uploading videos or some bullshit. But now I actually did it. Like, wow, I wonder what happened. I wonder what changed. And like, just getting the drive again. And also all the other negative aspects. Like, my brain fog, it's not completely gone. It does take time. Your brain has to adjust, especially after such a long time of use and abuse. It has to form again and like regenerate and shit. And there are some permanent effects, undoubtedly. Like, I won't be the same person I would be without having touched that shit ever. Like, there is a difference in my brain. Like, yeah, but obviously there's no point in dwelling on that, right? You can't change that shit. But there are a lot of temporal effects that are getting reversed. And I just noticed, like, I don't have trouble remembering stuff, or not as much trouble as I used to. I'm just sharper, right? I'm faster, like, especially at work. I'm like, I feel like I can excel at stuff again. That's the thing. I feel like that was missing. Yeah, and I need to make a Yad session about my take on Christianity and God and how it helped me and how I found Him. And also, what was the other? Ah, yeah, nutrition and like gym journey. Yeah, yeah, I have some topics to talk about. Anyway, that's it for today. Stay frosty, guys.